Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen, that have the appearance of the heathen. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans primarily make up the house of Israel here on earth today. Plus our scattered brethren that are scattered among all the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. And as far as the natives that some people acknowledge are they say the Afro natives, they acknowledge as being Israelites, but the other natives, Latinos, they don't. It's not a color thing. All right. Sometimes you can have brown skin. Two of the people on this page on this screen are darker than I am, and some people will still refer to me as black. So so it's not a color thing. All right, it's a seed thing. The Bible makes it very clear that you are the seed of your father in multiple portions of the Bible. But we're going to play about almost 7 minutes of this 12-minute video, which was sent to me, the water yet again to April O'Neil. The information that's coming out, and this is so right on key to what's happening right now with the attacks on the Northern Kingdom, and the division that is being stirred up between the Northern Kingdom, Esau, and between the Northern Kingdom and Judah. All right, and I just find it. Look, the elect are coming together. The 2/3. You don't matter. You 2/3 Israelites, both Latino, Native, or Negro, right now on this side, your life doesn't matter, your existence doesn't matter. All right? You're going to die, if for it is written. And then you will come back perfect. Then we will love you. Then you will be our brethren. It's as simple as that. The 2/3 are going to be cut off and die, thus it is written. It tells you in Zechariah, I'll read it. 13, about verse 7, it reads, "Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith Yahweh, against saith Yahweh of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones." It's not going to spare any of you. "And it shall come to pass in the land, saith Yahweh, that 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd shall be left therein." We all want to be numbered among that 1/3, that 3rd is left therein, because those are the ones who get rescued upon redeemed, get the salvation upon the return of the Lord. The 2/3, which is an innumerable multitude of who knows, close to 1 billion people. When you look at how many of there are of all 12 tribes, plus the ones that are scattered. So when you look at the 2/3, they're an innumerable multitude. All right. It says, "And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my power." All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to play like the first 6-7 minutes of this video. This will be a part 2, because in the part 2 of this video, I know I've been doing it a lot lately, but you know, the spirit do what it do. I'm going to bring out physical receipts to prove of the slave trade of the natives and the so-called Latinos, to interbreeding and slave trade with the so-called Negroes and the natives that were here in America, and how they were sent back and forth across America, back and forth to the islands, back and forth to Europe, back and forth to West Africa, going to provide. So at this point, it is undeniable, you know. I mean, it's been undeniable ever since the apostles and elders came on and gave us the breakdown. It's right there in the Bible, all right? In 2nd Ezra, how the northern kingdom of Israel came here to America, to the land where no man had ever dwelled, all right? Hamites had traveled here in the service of Solomon, which is how the Israelites knew the route to get over here, all right? Which is why Cristobal Colon, a.k.a. Christopher Columbus, knew to come here to the America, to the islands, all right? And the whole Indian thing, he was looking for India. That's a cover up, a lie. He came over here in search of the Israelites because he knew that America was full of gold, because the temple that the Romans sacked in Jerusalem, Solomon's temple, Salakia, most of that gold came here from the Americas. All right, it came from here. Salakia, this is, I've been dealing with this a couple days. I feel better. It's just, you know, I feel good. It's just that this is leaving me and I haven't really got my voice back fully yet. All right. So, without any further ado, let us.
Like, where are the black people when we need them with their help? With the whole Latino thing going on with the Dog document, and that triggered all of the black community. So now there's a bunch of videos saying a bunch of crap against Mexicans. They go, here we go again. The black community is mad because we're asking for their help. Instead of responding in a good way, they're really bashing us, bashing Mexicans. And saying,
I do have something to say first. This is my humble opinion. I think where we go wrong is that we ask for their help. Personally. And let me elaborate. I don't think that we as brown people should be asking another race of people to help us. I think if another race of people want to help voluntarily.
Let's interject right there. This is Jeremiah 50 and 33. This guy has a big platform, and he has a lot of Judites on his platform that watch him. The ones who understand and respect the Afro-Latinos are their people. The problem is the ones that look white, many of them are your people too. It's not a color thing, it's a seed thing. And just because someone is dark like you or brown or have melanin, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. There's other dark nations, all right, that are not your people. So that mindset, that concept is a lie that was taught by your captors, by your colonizers. But this is Jeremiah 50 and 33, and it reads, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. So both the northern and the southern kingdom, though they came from different parts of the earth, their origins were they came from the same place. And they served different captivities. And in these last days, they all served captivity here in the Americas among the Edomites in some form or fashion. All right. And they've been intermingled and labeled all these false, many names to hide the fact that they are the Israelites.
Then that's that. I'm going to give you a great example. I've had a black woman, Latina, but black, right? Who is more involved in the Latino community than the black community. As a black woman, but from Latin America. So much so that before Donald Trump was elected, she reached out to me and said, Ricardo, you have a lot of black people that listen to you. Can you please talk to them to help us Latinos? She's black. She's telling a Mexican guy, can you please talk to your overwhelming black audience to help us Latinos?
She one of them Dominican types. I know black and you darker than... and you dark as a damn African. I know black, or same thing with them Cubans. So Jake got that because Esau, really pushed that. I think it's called the encomienda. I'm trying to remember no, that's not what it's called. That was something else. There's a word that I can't remember right now where they push this doctrine among them that to make their race pure, they had to lighten themselves up. That's why they push their daughters and their sons to continue to marry lighter complected people, to marry to marry among whites, to marry white men and lighten them up. This is how they, and on top of that, just the rapes, so-called white men raped the Northern Kingdom women by the millions, over the centuries, over the years. So it's been a lot of rapes and a lot of lightening up their complexion. And the same thing happened to Judah. All right. Now, vice versa, those children, you have to understand, those children that were born, they may have a little bit of melanin, but they were lighter. All right. And then their children marry someone that's lighter, and then they look white. Some of them actually were so-called white Edomites. All right. Because their seed line could be traced back to that first colonizer and rapist. All right. But when women born from unions like that get seed implanted in them to someone whose seed line goes back to Jacob, you see, so it's not a color thing, people. You got to become spiritual and see and learn and get, well, I guess you can't become spiritual. John 15:16 says the Lord chooses who he wants to. So, but it is what it is. But it's not a color thing.
I'm like, you're black. But you see, this is how these kind of terminologies have kind of ruined us a little bit.
A lot.
In the case of like black Latinos, if you will.
And see, and they'll even tell you that they know that they're brown, but they keep using that terminology black. And I don't know, I've probably done, 100 or so videos over the last just couple years, breaking down the word black and how that's a weapon. They weaponize that word. No one is actually black. You're either brown or you're a palish red. Edomites were red, and the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. Okay? You're either a shade of brown or you're a shade of red. You could be a dark chocolate brown, just as dark as the lady's hair. All right? Or you can be a light brown, like the dude, in the bottom corner on the right. All three of them are brown. All right? Different shades of brown. All right? And the one in the matter of fact, and all of them, the one at the bottom, he and I are almost the same complexion. Okay? And the other two, they're darker than I am. And I imagine when they get in the sun, they all get darker. Because they have the blessing of having melanin. That's a blessing to have melanin. It's true, but you can't make melanin a doctrine.
They're so busy, and I mean this with all due respect to the black Latinos, they're so busy trying to be Latinos that they forget about black people. And they're black. From my observation. To the point where a black woman is asking me, and she's got a large following, but she has been using her following to be involved in the Latino community. And she has to ask me, and this is what I told her.
Because she has self-hate. Because that's how you know that word black is a social construct that they made up, because it means everything negative, even though she's physically brown. All right. White means pure. Black means dirty, tainted, unclean, ugly. It means all these different things. So then when you say black people, ugly, immoral, people, it's a very negative thing. And white meaning pure and good, honest, and all that good stuff. Look up the definitions of the two words. That social construct was very cleverly, wickedly, and cleverly put together.
No. Here's what I said. I said, I will not do that. I will not ask black people to help us at all, actually. And what was disrespectful the most was when I saw that over 60% of Latinos voted for Trump.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until last week. I said, what?
So basically, what the title of this name, the title of this video would more than likely be Natives, Latinos learn a hard lesson, and there'll be Israelites in parentheses, that Edomites, whites, are their enemies.
Check this out. So you mean to tell me our own community voted mostly for Trump, and we want another race of people to help us?
Right.
That's why black people are offended.
Yeah.
It's like I've heard it all the time. Black people themselves tell me, we voted for Kamala. You want our help? You need to convince your people to help you first. So now
What
imagine.
you have to understand, what's going on would have happened either regardless. If Kamala was in, it will be just as bad, if not worse. All right, and Kamala is not so-called black at all. All right, she's a Elamite. All right, she's of the real, well, not real Indian, but she's of Elamite heritage. Those are the people of Asia, of West Asia, or just east of Southwest Asia, actually Central Asia. That's where her people come from.
Black people from the outside looking in, 60-something% of Latinos voted for Trump, and here comes the Latinos asking for our help. That's disrespectful, man. Of course. Go ahead, Gina.
And that's what I wanted to touch on, because as I stated before, like in the Afro Latino conversation that we had, I find my community not with Latinos.
Uh-huh.
I am part of the 92% that voted for Kamala. Okay. The reason why we say enough, help yourself.
And most women, whether Latino, white, or black, voted for Kamala Harris because the women just hate Trump. It was mostly men, Latino men, so-called native men, who put that Edomite over them.
Is because the elections really did show us that we were alone.
Yep.
It's the sentiment that we really fight for everybody and nobody fights for us. And that's why when they look around, they say, oh, well, where are all the black people? Do you see them protests, the little parades that people were having, protesting? Why do you think they were so peaceful? Why do you think they weren't, the police weren't out there in anti-riot gear and militarized police wasn't out there? We're not using our bodies as human shields for people anymore. When the George Floyd protests happened, I was in Seattle and I was out there. Everything was peaceful until the agents of chaos came in and they started tear gassing us.
And then the agent of chaos are the agent provocateurs, which are usually paid off by Esau Edom. All right. So when you have the protests, they infiltrate and they come. They got the backpacks full of rocks. They have, the hammers, the crowbars. They start throwing things, breaking windows, spray painting things, and those are your agent provocateurs. And now all the receipts are being shown of the Craigslist and the stacks of rocks and bricks that are staged the night before. They probably come in the middle of the night or whatever, and set up all these pallets of bricks and stones and center blocks. And those are the agents of chaos that he's talking about. We all remember that video during the George Floyd protest when that one guy who was later on found out to be a cop, who and the one kid with the pizza box who ran up on him and actually tried to fight him, squared up with him for doing what he was doing. When he ran over and took his hammer out of his bag and broke the window of, I think it was a car. The car parts store. He broke the window and then spray painted free shit on the wall, all right, or on the window, that the part that was still not broken. So he opened up this place, and so that's the agent of chaos that she's talking about. So all this is set up, all right. Let it play.
Like I'm telling you, como perro no trataban.
Yeah.
When all we want is the right to live, the right to exist. Don't kill us. We saw things for what they really were in the elections.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, I agree. We did. But I saw it before the elections, to be honest with you. I saw it before.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't need the elections. I didn't need to see 60% Latino for. I didn't. I've been seeing this my whole life. my whole life. And I've always told people, the black and brown people that come into my chat way before the elections, y'all pay attention to who comes over here and attack me when I address white tea people. It's Latinos. Latinos get mad when I address white tea people.
Wow.
All the people that got my back in the comment section are black people. When I'm addressing white tea supremacy, all the Latinos come in here, oh, you're a hater. Woo.
Yeah.
I don't need the election thing to show me anything. I've seen it not only here in the chat.
Matter of fact, let me get this is Deuteronomy 28 and 54, and it reads, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. All right. So the Jake males are their eyes are evil toward their own brothers, evil toward their wife, and especially Judah. And now all of Jake at this point, everybody, got this baby mama problem. Even the Latino families now, all right, are leaving and breaking up. And one of the main reasons why these men leave, they're not really leaving their children, they're leaving the woman, and then the woman weaponizes the child against them. That's what they do. All right. But that's part of the curses. Jump to 56. And the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set a sole of her foot on the ground for delicateness and tenderness, for her eye shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom. All right. And toward her son and towards her daughter. So these women are really evil toward their children. I mean, how many stories do you see of these women leaving their children alone to go party and go on vacation and set up their men and railroad their men to jail, railroad their men into the system, the very system that destroys them financially through Title 4D child support. Now, and then, when the child gets older, the man is ruined. He can't really help his children because his credit and everything is destroyed because of the system. The women are doing this. All right. So that's part of the curses. All right. What he's sighing and crying about right now. The Israelites are divided, but the elect of the Lord, the men of the Lord that go on the highways and byways with the 12 tribe sign, them and their families are coming together. So when you start, balancing out who's the 1/3 and who's the 2/3, well, it actually becomes obvious. We know exactly that the 2/3 are not going to be out on the highways and byways trying to teach unity of our people. That's for sure.
I've seen them my whole life growing up. Latinos, bro, are some self-hating motherfuckers.
Yep.
Straight up.
And it was such a perfect...
But you know what? The same thing could be said about so-called blacks. The same thing. Because guess what? They have the same behavior. All right? The same behavior. The house nigga and the field nigga. All right?
Storm for Latinos to see themselves as they really are. Yeah. Because not only would they not vote for Kamala because she is black, they wouldn't vote for her because she's woman.
Yeah.
Machismo.
See, so she got that woman worship spirit. All right? Because there's nothing wrong with having that machismo because the Lord set it up where a man is supposed to lead. So some of them did vote for Trump because they, the machismo is actually righteous. There's nothing wrong with that. She said that with anger. All right. So some of them did vote because, the truth of the matter is we're not supposed to be voting at all. It tells you in the scriptures that we're supposed to put one of our own over us as a ruler. All right. Donald Trump is not our own, just the same as Barack Obama was a Hamite and not not an Israelite. He was a different dark race, not your people at all. His husband, that situation, Michael Michelle is one of your people, but Barack Obama is not. Barack Obama is a Hamite. His father is an actual Hamite, which are ancient enemies, our first enemies, before even Esau was. Okay? All right, so it's basically it's Esau and his policy that has our people so confused and so divided. The Willie Lynch letters, the chattel slavery, the renaming us Latinos, Natives, and Americans, Indians, Negroes, niggers, forest niggers, tree niggers. Some of the names that he called the you know, the natives of the Americas. So I'm going to read one more scripture. This is Habakkuk 2, 15 and 16, and we'll end part 1 and prepare for part 2. But it's Habakkuk 2 and 15. It says, "Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor to drink, and puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken. Also that thou may look upon his nakedness." So referring to you as a Latino, referring to you as a Negro, referring to you as a native, you know, all these names that they made up to hide our true heritage and culture from us. And now our people have embraced it, and they defend the lies and the nonsense and come against each other via by title or simply because of complexion. All right. And now, and this is all becoming a shame, you know, unto Esau Edom. He's the one that's losing in the end. All right. But that will conclude part 1. And part 2, I'm going to play another set of videos from a Negro woman identifying many of the so-called blacks as natives here in America, which, you know, which we tell you that, you know, that a lot of the natives were reclassified as Negro. All right. You know, brown ones that look like him, brown ones that look like me, they were reclassified. I know for a fact, you know, through my own personal research, as a result of this truth, you know, I sought out my fathers, you know, and you know, and I remember when the apostles, the first time I went up top, you know, the apostle said, "Everybody that's Judah, hold up their hand." I held up my hand, and the apostle Tahar and Elder Bishop Manatazar looked at me and they said, "Put your hand down, brother." And so I'm like, I thought they was messing with me. So I looked at them, and then he said, "Okay." So I once again, he said, "Everybody that's Judah, put their hand up." I put my hand up again. He said, "No, brother, you put your hand down." He said, "No, brother, you a Reubenite." So, and upon research, and then I remember when Elder Bishop Taz said, "Man, you know, yeah, you the one that looked like come on, man. Now I can't remember the elder's name. And I can see his face plain as day because he looks just like, it's true." And we actually took a picture together. I wish I had it on hand right now. But I'm like, damn, this dude was standing with me and my father's people, my aunts and my uncles. You would think that he was one of them. And it turns out that his father is from the same place where my father's father's from. I know we're related. All right. So, and it turns out that a lot of those people from that portion, that part of Mississippi, well, the evidence shows that those people were Native Americans, and they got reclassified as black. So that being the point, man, this is what they've done to us, caused all this confusion. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Kwadash Kwam Yasarala, Abba Babal. See you in the next lesson. Shalom.